Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to our beginner's tutorial / walkthrough of Europa Universalis 4 with RedBstrd as Delhi. So where we last left off on the previous video, we're discussing monarch points. And so administrative power, diplomatic power, military power, and how they're generated. There's a base of 3, everyone gets at least 3, no matter how bad the ruler is. With the skill of the ruler in the appropriate category added on to that resource, but then once accumulated you can use for things like technology, or possibly other stuff like increasing your stability or hiring admirals to lead your fleets or generals to lead your armies. Now advisors, which is why we have this alert here, we can hire advisors, and how they work is, again, they're associated with one of these kinds of skill, administrative skill. And they directly add to the skill of your ruler for the purposes of producing administrative points or diplomatic or military points. So you can see right here that if we hire this guy, Iqbal Lohia, he will add +1 administrative power. Each month we would be getting an additional point of administrative power, meaning that if we need to increase our stability or we need to get administrative technology, this guy's going to make that happen more quickly. So all advisors will have at least +1, but the expensive ones could have +2 or even +3. And they involve a one-time cost from our treasury to hire, and then every month there's an upkeep that's subtracted from our income. So you can see that we're making 0.81 ducats or 0.81 coins each month. So we can't afford this guy even, or this guy, without losing money each month. And every guy will also, I shouldn't say every guy, every advisor, some of them are female. If you have the Women in History downloadable content, which is free, downloaded, then there'll be some advisors with a silver border that are female. Regardless, any one advisor that we hire will also have some sort of bonus, a passive bonus that's added on to your country while they're hired for the term of their employment. For instance, if we hire Iqbal Lohia, not only will we be getting that +1 administrative power each month, we'll also get 10% more money from taxes. That bonus is always going to be associated with the kind of power that they're producing. So these guys are all going to have some sort of bonus relating to administration, the running of the country. And the same thing applies here for diplomatic. We could hire a diplomatic advisor. We can only have one. So we could hire this guy who would add 1 diplomatic power each month to our total, in addition to what we get from the base and from our ruler. And then they give some sort of bonus relating to navies, trade, spies, or diplomacy itself. Again, they cost money. So we can't afford any of these guys. And the same applies here for military. Again, 1 +1 +2 or possibly +3 if we could afford them. One-time cost, monthly maintenance, and they give some sort of bonus relating to military matters. So that is our first alert. Well, we looked at this first alert, the first one we're going through on this video, is the advisor slots. And we can't actually afford anyone. If we were wealthy, we could get an administrative advisor, we can get a diplomatic advisor, and a military advisor, but we can't afford a single one, at least not while half of our country is in the hands of rebels. So we're going to right-click to dismiss that alert. We've also got the information that we have a truce with the country of Malwa, just to the south of us, and that truce is going to last until 1448. That we are not allowed to declare war on Malwa without greatly upsetting both our people and the international community by virtue of being truce breakers. So we're going to leave that there just as a reminder. Now we're given also a mission. We're told by this alert that we have no mission selected, but we have a choice of 3 possible missions. So if we click on it, left click, at least on the PC, it takes us to our country views missions tab, and it tells us we could choose to improve our prestige. That's this attribute. It gives us some flavor text. It tells us what we have to accomplish in order to accomplish this mission, and then what the reward is, the effect on completion. So I would suggest that the missions that you take should be things that you are going to be doing anyway, things that you can easily accomplish, or something that helps you accomplish a goal. It's like improve our prestige. This one requires that we get from -13 prestige to 50 prestige. And that's going to be hard to do. So I'm not going to try to accomplish this one right away, because it's not easily achievable for us. However, there's one, improve relations with Maywat. We could ensure that one of our neighbors likes us more. All we have to do is make sure that their opinion of us is at least 100, positive 100. And if we do that, we get diplomatic reputation, which means, you'll learn, that's easier. The higher your diplomatic reputation is, the easier it is to gain alliances, form royal marriages with other countries, and vassalize nations. Other option would be to reclaim the province of Kandahar. You can see it's right here. And if we didn't see it on the map right away, we could always go to press F or click on this button to actually find the province and type in its name. So that one would involve a war with a country that's bigger than us, and half of our country is in rebel hands. I'm not really confident that we could do that right away. Instead, we're going to improve relations with Maywat. We'll just click it, and then it removes the alert. We've got the box that tells us the flavor text. We can cancel it at any time, but we wouldn't be able to get a replacement mission for 1 full year. Reminds us of our objectives, and reminds us of what we will get if we will accomplish it. Now, the last alert that we have popped up is that we can convert some of our provinces to the Sunni faith. If we click on it, it will take us to our country view to the religious tab. It reminds us what our religion is, and tells us a little bit about that religion. And we'll go over some of these numbers in a little bit more detail, and what exactly the special stuff about being a Sunni Muslim is. And we could see here, that tells us the provinces in our country that follow a religion different than our state religion. So we are Sunni, our rulers are Sunni, it's our official state religion, but actually every single one of our provinces, there should be 8 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every single one of our provinces has the majority population is actually Hindu. So we could try sending one of our missionaries to one of these provinces to try converting some of those people so that they're Muslim, and that the majority population would be Muslim. Now, we could do that, but we can see that we don't even control some of these provinces. They're in the hands of rebels. So the only option we have is spending 555 months trying to convert this one province to being Sunni. That seems like an awful lot of effort. I will note, on our ideas, one of the 2 traditions that we start with, which we saw when we were loading up the game, is tolerance of heathens. We are very tolerant of our subjects who are heathens, and it tells us right here what we consider to be a heathen, what we consider to be the true faith, what we consider to be heretical faiths, different branches of Islam in this case. And these guys are heathens, and we're very tolerant of them. So I don't think we actually need to worry about the fact that some of our population, actually most of it, are not Muslims. So we're just going to right-click to dismiss that. Okay, we are nearly ready to unpause the game. We're now just over 40 minutes into the tutorial, 10 minutes of this video, a little over 30. But we want to find something to do with these agents of our state first. So first of all, we've got 2 merchants. So what do merchants do? Well, we can click on our trade map or just press E here. We'll look at a breakdown of how trade is developing in the world. Don't get intimidated by this. Trade is one of the things that takes a little while to actually understand fully. But how it works in the simplest sense is that every province that we own produces some sort of primary trade good that goes to market. And as it's produced, we get a little bit of what's called production income. And we see it right here. So that's what we collect when it's produced. And then the value is also how can I explain this simply? Well, the goods then go to market. And we can see that each of our provinces feeds into some regional hub of trade called a trade node or trade zone, and they're represented on this trade map as a box. It's got numbers. And we can see the direction that those goods are flowing. Now, one of our trade hubs or trade nodes, trade zone, is going to be the place that is our main trading port. And any country that you are is always going to have one main trading port. And it'll be marked on one of these trade nodes with a little crate and some coins next to it. And there's where you collect some trade money. Every nation's going to have one. So for us, we collect our trade in the Doab zone here. And that happens whether our merchants are working or not. So automatically we collect some trade here. Okay, because that's our home area. We collect trade there. Now we have additional merchants. We've got 2 merchants that we can have doing something else. And merchants can only do 2 things. They can assist in the collection of trade money, or they can try pushing goods from one place to another. So we can see that this guy, Amurana, is transferring trade power. He is up in Kashmir, and his job is to make sure that goods flow from Kashmir to Doab. And now this other guy, we've got 1 guy free. And what we would like is more goods to flow to Doab. But we can see that the arrows are going away. So this trade area doesn't feed into Doab. This trade area doesn't feed into Doab. This trade area looks like it's going north, but it goes right past Kashmir and goes this way. So the only possible place that if we wanted to try to get more goods towards Doab, we could potentially send a merchant here to try to send goods to Kashmir, and then this guy would send those goods on to Doab. Hopefully that makes some sense. This is complicated, I know. It's one of the more complicated things. Just remember, your merchants can only do 2 things. They can help push goods the directions you want them, or they can assist in the collection of goods. So in Lhasa, we only have 1 guy in a place, and this guy's here in Kashmir. So we can click on Lhasa and try to transfer some of these trade goods, transfer trade power. But it warns us, it gives us a little red X. It says, I'm sorry, you can't do that because it's too far away. Our merchants are not good enough to be able to operate this far from Doab. Okay, so what else could they do? Well, I said they can only push trade or collect. So we can actually assign our second merchant to help collect trade. And ask us, which merchant would you like? Like this guy who is not assigned to a place. We see this guy is assigned to Kashmir. Take the first guy. That tells us in one day he will be there to do it. So if you're not playing as Delhi, you're playing as some other country. How do you want to arrange your trade? We'll try to transfer power in some of the places that have errors pushing goods towards your main trading port. So first, locate your main trading port by going to your trade map, and then assign merchants to push power towards that area. And it can be in a chain. This guy can push goods there, this guy can push goods there. And if you can't do that, then assign your excess merchant to help in the collection of goods in your main trading port. And I said we automatically collect some trade there, but if this guy's there helping out, it just makes the process more efficient. So again, sorry if this is complicated. Trade is difficult. You just want to make sure that you are pushing trade towards your main trading port, and then if you've got leftover guys, have them collect in your main trading port. Okay, so enough with our merchants. We have 3 diplomats, and you can guess that they are involved in diplomacy. Their job is to interact with our friends and enemies. So we know we hate Jampur. We know that we hate Multan. So let's try to make some friends with people that also hate them. So when we click on Jampur, we can click on their either flag, or we can actually open up diplomacy with them, and we find out a little bit of information about their diplomatic state of affairs. We can see that Bengal hates them and we hate them. Let's actually ask Bengal. Bengal, would you like to be our friend? So here it tells us information about Bengal, that we can see that their attitude towards us is friendly. They view us as a natural ally against other nations who threaten them. They are likely to seek an alliance with them. That tells us on the scale of -200, which is they hate our guts, +200, meaning that they worship the ground we walk on or view us as best friends, how they feel about us. And they're +25, so they like us. And we could see if they have any allies, they would list them here. If they rule over any other countries, it would list here. We can just open up our diplomacy screen, and we have lots of options here. But we're looking to make an alliance with them. So let's offer them an alliance. You can see right here there's either a green check mark indicating that they would accept, or a red X indicating that they would reject the offer. And it will tell us exactly why that is the case. So they will accept this alliance because they're friendly towards us. They respect our army. They're a little worried about the fact that we don't have a navy. And we have positive relations that contributes. So let's click on this, and it says, do you wish to offer an alliance to Bengal? Doing so would obligate us to help each other in times of war. And it tells us on a sliding scale of whether they'll reject or accept. And it tells us, yes, they are expected to accept unless something crazy happens in the next day while our offer is being considered. So we're going to confirm. And now this one diplomat, he's gone there, he's doing his job, and he will return to our country in 9 days. The further away you're interacting, the longer it'll take those diplomats to return home to be used for something else. And you can only offer an alliance to 1 country per day, just to avoid exploits. Okay, but we can do some other stuff. We could try establishing other kinds of relationships with other nations. And how many relationships are we allowed? Well, we can hold the cursor over our diplomatic power here, and it tells us up at the top in the little drop down that we have 1 out of 4 diplomatic relations. Let's take a look at what that is. We can click on our main country view, and we could just go to our diplomacy screen. And here's our country, our religion, our kind of our government rank, technology group. Tells us about our rulers, and then, whoops, this is Bengal. We can return to ourselves here. So it keeps it locked on the person you last looked at, and you return to your own nation by clicking that. Okay, so it tells us we already have one, even before we've unpaused it to find out how Bengal feels about our offer. So what is our one relation? What tells us Bangladesh here is our vassal. The nation of Bangladesh, we could actually just click on this on the map to center on them. So this nation is a subject of us. They answer to us. Those troops, in the event of war, will come to help our troops out. And they give us a little bit of their money. They're a vassal. They're not an independent nation. They serve us. Okay, so we've got one relation slot filled, and we've made an offer to Bengal for the second one. So we could have potentially 2 more friends, either allies or vassals of some sort. So our other enemy was Multan. And we can click on them and see they don't get along with Baluchistan, they don't get along with Mewar. So Baluchistan is here, Mewar is here, and again we've seen how you could center your country on their capital. So they don't get along with Baluchistan, they don't get along with us, and they don't get along with Mewar. So potentially Baluchistan and Mewar would be our friends. And we can click on Baluchistan and see that they also view us as friendly. We can only send 1 offer per day, so why don't we wait just a single day? We're going to unpause it. It's the 12th, and we have received word back that Bengal has accepted our offer of military alliance. And we've actually received an alliance offer from the nation of Mewat. That's what this is. First of all, we wanted to send an offer to Baluchistan for an alliance. And it expected that they will agree. So let's confirm that. And now 2 of our diplomats are off trying to make us friends. Yes, we can left click on this to bring up the information and see that Mewat has offered us alliance. Now, if you recall, go to our country view and to our missions, we have accepted the mission of trying to befriend Mewat. So getting an alliance with them would certainly help. What are we going to do with our last diplomat for this week? Well, when we had appointed Multan and Jampur as rivals, it told us in that little pop-up, it had said, you're more likely to get alliances with their enemies, but you can also boycott them. You can embargo their merchants without penalty. So let's do that. Let's stand up to our enemies. Our last diplomat, we are going to issue an embargo against Multan, meaning that our merchants will work against theirs, and they won't make as much money. So do you wish to issue an embargo against Multan? Reduce the power of their traders where we can. This will upset them. And we could do this because, again, we're rivals. And we are going to confirm to say yes. We don't like them. We would like to hurt them in the money and the pocketbook any way we can. So let's unpause it, and we have received word back from Baluchistan that they would like to ally us. They have accepted that offer. Now we have 4 out of 4 relations. We are friends. We're allies with Baluchistan, We rule over Bangladesh as their liege lord, their vassal. We're allied to Mewat. And we're allied to Bengal. So who makes good allies? I should just stop for a second. Rivals of your rival. So if we don't get along with Jampur, we don't get along with Multan, they've declared us as their rivals, then we should rival them and look to their rivals as our friends. You could also look at the list of interesting nations to play, which you hopefully have written down when you started your game. And we can see that certain people like Vijayanagar, Bamanis, Jampur, Timurids, Ming, probably Ayutthaya, are all powerful or important nations in East and South Asia. So those might be people we'd want to befriend. And let's just wait a few more days before our people can come back. And now we have a free merchant. So let's also embargo our other rival, Jampur. They wish to embargo them and reduce the power of their traders where we can. So do we want to cost them money? Of course we do. And that diplomat will arrive in 4 days. So now our only alerts that we have is that our rebels are very close to removing our monarch and installing a new one. But if you remember, go to our country view and look at our monarch. He is a 111 on the scale of 0 to 6, so he is pretty awful. Like he's pretty bad. His heir is a 100, so he's even worse. This guy's like Hodor, Latin Alam Said. Not very good. And then every ruler, in addition to their 0 to 6 ranking, they also will have certain kinds of personality traits that modify how they exactly rule. In this case, we can see that he is a babbling buffoon, is considered to be a buffoon. While a ruler means well by personally engaging in diplomacy with our neighbors, this is not coupled with the talent for conducting negotiations. Anyone's likely to have a harder time seeing the points we want to make, and many of our negotiations are hampered by the ineptness of our ruler. So we're actually welcoming the overthrow of our government. But now we've got all 3 of our diplomats back, and we can unpause it and look for what we're going to do next. But it's been just over 27 minutes. I'm going to stop this video, try to keep them around 30 minutes each, and we'll start up a new one in just a few minutes. So thank you for watching. If you liked this, please consider liking the video and or subscribing to my channel.